Hi, how are you guys? So, time for another card reading. So, this card honestly freaks me out every time I get it. And as a reader, of course, you're not supposed to be biased with the cards or, have any kind of, I don't know, I feel like every card has its own perspective and stuff. But every time that I get this card, it freaks me out. Every time when I pull cards, and if I get this card for myself, I really freak out. So it's the Tower card. I'm gonna show you the Tower card from two different decks, just so you can understand. This is the Tower card from the deck called the Fountain Tarot, and this is another Tower card from a different deck, and this is from the Art of Tarot. So basically the Tower talks about unexpected destruction, unexpected change, which is fast, speedy, and you have no control over it. It's not because you wished it, or it's not because you manifested it, but it just is. It's also sometimes called as an act of God. It's like you would not have thought about it, but it's just unexpected, and it's a destruction basically. So the meaning of this, if you want to interpret, it's definitely about change. It's about change that you are forced into, not something that you want to do ideally. So every time that I get this card, trying to not predict it in a conventional way, I kind of try and look for a deeper meaning to it. And I think the more that I look at the card, the more it feels like if you look at the card very carefully, it's always the top part which is crumbling and it's struck by lightning. It's always the top. And I feel I can look at it from this perspective that your intent, the foundation of anything that you do, your intention, your vision, that is kind of always the foundation. That's like the first brick, that's like the first step that you take. And I feel like with this card, the more that I look at this card, try to interpret it by overlooking the traditional conventional meaning, I feel like this could be talking about intentions. How we sometimes base a lot of things on intentions that don't align with us, and in the long run it crumbles, because what we wanted, what our intentions were, what our actions are, they don't really align. Sometimes even our values, sometimes they just don't align with what we're doing, and somewhere we kind of tend to keep building things on because we feel like it's working right now, so let's just keep building it. But it does not align with our values, it does not align with the intention that we've put. And I think that is what this means to me. Like anytime that I get this card, now I have kind of started looking at it from this perspective, that what is my intention for everything that I'm doing. When something's not working, when something feels like it just feels like a destruction, I tend to go back and ask myself, okay, so what was our intent for this? Like, what was my thought when I started doing this? And in what way did I derail? Where did I go wrong? Which step did I miss? Because here this card always feels like there is a step that is not proper. Like this, like there's like a mismatch. This is bigger and this is smaller, so it's obviously going to crumble. So I feel like somewhere this also tells me that we know that this destruction might happen. We don't wish it, we don't manifest it, but we know that this destruction might happen. It might just crumble because something's off, something is not how we intended. And I feel like this always reminds me that I need to pause and I need to like look at my own intentions. And a lot of times I have looked at this card thinking, oh, I need to prepare for the worst because something terrible can happen. But I feel like not looking at the traditional meaning, when I look at it from my own, how I interpret the card, how I interpret the card based on what the card is telling me, I feel like the foundation, the base is really necessary. Like it's also like, you know, what you sow is what you know, essentially what you reap. So what are the mindsets, what is the thinking that goes behind anything that you do, your belief? You cannot succeed if you feel you're a failure. So if your base is I'm not good enough, but then, you know, you keep building on that, even if you get an amazing opportunity which you've been waiting for like years and years, it's not going to happen. It's going to crumble, because even if you do get the job, it's going to crumble because you don't feel you're good enough. Your entire intent was I'm not good enough. So it's going to crumble. And even if you get like the best of what you've wanted, and you've been like kind of basing it on an idea that you're not good enough or you don't deserve it, it's going to crumble, right? So that's how I look at the card. And I feel like I have had these discussions with clients as well, like whether it's tarot, whether it's the program. There's a lot of talk on intentions and mindset, beliefs basically. What is your core belief? Are you believing something, but then you're convincing yourself to believe something else? Any kind of forced belief is never going to work out. Any kind of forced belief is a false foundation, I feel. So if it's a false foundation, if it's not a very rock solid foundation, things are going to crumble at the end of it. So I feel like with this card, what I wanted to really talk about is, have you taken a look at your own foundations recently? Have you, or can you take a look at your own foundations recently and ask yourself, I'm doing this is something that I want, this is something that I really dream of, but what am I basing this on? What is my first step? What is the ground like? The basic ground level philosophy, idea, intent, belief, anything. And what am I really building it? Like, what is the foundation like? So if your foundation, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a career prospect, whether it's your business, whether it's anything, even if it is about you, it could be something very, very day to day also. Whether you want to make a phone call, whether you want to like send out an email, whether you want to send out a text, basically anything at all. What is your foundation for that? What are you thinking? What is your belief? What is like the base? What is like the ground like? So I feel it will really help in understanding how will this go moving forward. Even if you have, even if you're very good with what you are doing, but if your intent is not in alignment with your values or with what you really want the outcome to be like, then I feel there's a high possibility for destruction. And I've gone through this many times, wherein I have convinced myself to believe that maybe this is good for me, maybe it's just me, I'm overthinking, but then my heart was not in it. So I felt that was like my base, my foundation. My heart was not in it, and I still went with it, and it blew up in my face. Like it just blew in my face. It's happened many times. So I feel like with this card, I really want to remind you that please take a look at your foundation, your base. What are you thinking? How are you feeling? What is your mindset? I recently had a discussion with somebody where we were talking about something similar, and she got what she really wanted. Like she really tried to manifest this, and she really got it. But because she believed that she doesn't deserve it, every day she kind of felt like today something bad will happen, and guess what, it did, because she didn't believe that this opportunity that she got, she really deserved it. She kind of based that entire opportunity on her limiting belief, and it crumbled at the end of the day. So when we kind of went back and when we brainstormed on this, we realized that yeah, she really based it on fear, she based it on her limiting belief. And even though she convinced herself that yeah, okay, it's fine, it's great, it's happening, it's happened to me, okay, this, that, it crumbled, it fell apart, because her foundation, her base every day was fear, every day was her limiting belief. So I don't know if this makes sense to you, but with this I really wanted you to understand intentions in a way. And yeah, I mean, this is how I look at it. Even now when I get this card, for a moment I panic, but then I'm like, okay, let's just work on our intentions. Not, and I feel like once you understand that your intentions are kind of misaligned, you can take a step back and then start from scratch in a way that is not to say that your hard work or whatever you've achieved is gone down the drain, but it can help you kind of reset that particular foundation, reset your beliefs, your ideas, and everything. So it's kind of like you're given a second chance in a way. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but this is how I interpret the cards, this is how I look at the cards, and this is how I even like whenever I'm reading for somebody and this card comes, I talk about foundations and I talk about like the base ground level. So yeah, with this I wanted to just talk a little bit about intentions and your basic foundation, your ground level. So yeah, if it helps, try to journal, ask yourself like, what is my intent, how do I feel about what I want to do, whatever your situation is, what is my core belief, what am I convincing myself of, or where do I think I'm falling short, am I forcing myself into doing something that I don't want to do, that don't align with my values and intentions, and what is my intention towards this. Even if you're honest, that's the outcome you'll get. So be very clear about your intentions and your ground, like your foundation, and that will really take you far. So that's the card pull for today. I hope it makes sense to you. If it does, please tell me, write to me, DM me, and yes, I will meet you soon for another card pull. Thank you.